What I wanted to talk about was kind of off of Giuseppe's email, because I was on a coaching call last week, and Giuseppe's email that about PennyMac being evil. Penny is evil. It's not just Penny. Everybody's doing this, and everybody's going to be doing this at a much higher level. And the coaching response was get everybody, especially everybody that's closed your last 180 days, because with all the activity that's going on with tariffs, and so real estate and interest rates are always in the news when there's this much market volatility. And the coaching was make 20 outbound calls a day to people that you've closed in the last 180 days and let them know what's going on and that you're watching. And that when the time is right, you're going to make sure that they, with everything that we do here as it relates to that. So you're monitoring their rates, obviously, and the no lender fee, no appraisal fee refinance. And we're not going to talk into spending $20,000 or $30,000 in discount points to get into a rate that isn't going to save you that much money. It's going to take forever to get your money back. So I think it's just some really good coaching. And I'd just like to go around the room and see what other kinds of conversations are coming up on this subject, because it's going to get, this has always been the case in our industry, and it's just getting ramped up because there's just a lot more talk about it. If anything, it's a great reminder with Rocket doing what they do. They're doing everything they can to leverage every relationship, and where we win and where we can compete and win, in my mind, easily is the personal relationship. But does anybody have any feedback or any comments on this? Have you been getting, besides what Giuseppe got, has anybody had anything else come over like that?
I mean, a handful like that, in different, they all look a little bit different, but like, I think I forwarded a video maybe a month ago about someone else where they actually included the rate in the APR. So I was able to just go into a TCA and figure out how much they had in fees, because you couldn't figure out like why the savings were so little. I'm like, well, they're so little because they're increasing your loan by $30,000 to roll in the fees. So they're all a little bit different, but that seems to be, it must be AI doing it, because it's like, who the hell would try and talk someone into, spending $30,000, $40,000 in fees, rolling them into the loan to save $100 a month or $150 a month. But I don't know, maybe that person exists, but it seems, I don't even know how you would sell that to a client. You're just basically hoping that they have no idea. They e-sign everything. At closing, they e-sign everything, and they have no idea that, their loan is ballooning by that much.
Mike, can you speak to this at all on the servicing side? Because I don't get it. They're already servicing the loan. They already have the servicing. So why are they just trying to get ahead of it getting churned on them by us?
They're trying to lock it up long term. They do it either through the second liens or giving, or kind of doing those things. They're just trying to lock it up long term, because they believe then that their book of servicing port, instead of having like a 4 mult, has like a 5 mult on it. So that's really all they're doing. And they have a formula. They go through and they basically will add about 15 bips to pricing to buy from correspondents to do that, because they know they win on it.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I do understand, but it's like, why wouldn't you partner with the correspondent that got to the loan and treat it like an in-house loan forever? Like, hey, do the loan with us. If you need to refinance this loan, here's what we'll give you. And then keep the loan with us. Like, we would buy into that all day.
Yeah, but that's logical and it's ethical, Dave, and you're not tying into corporate Wall Street greed where that does not exist.
Right. Well, there you go. So that seems like it would be. So anyway, the prudent thing obviously is that's our differentiator. That's always been our differentiator, is the personal relationship that you develop with your client, the fiduciary relationship, the trust, the like. It makes everything long term that much easier. I'll pivot a little bit. We did a Ryan and Chelsea and Ashley did a perfect loan process workshop yesterday. We took the 3-day workshop and we turned it into a 2-day workshop, and it can totally be a 2-day workshop. And it was really it was really fun to do it because I almost forgot what you lead up to when you get to the slide that says, what if we blame the process instead of the person? Because that's so easy to do in our job. It's so easy to do in our job where we're just like, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. Instead of going, wow, we got to look at this process and figure this out, because it really is just figuring out a better process. So as an update, the handout that I gave everybody at the state of the company meeting about going through your workflows and working on actually scheduling time to work on the business. So we scheduled with ops, Amy and I she's putting it in the calendar today to block 2 hours on Monday, this coming Monday, to begin that process of going through the workflow and figuring out where in this process do we need to make improvements. And there's any number of things that we can work on. And the only way to work on them is to get started on it. And people who think they don't have time for this, it's such a mistake. It's like saying that you don't have time to turn around and turn the water off because you're too busy mopping up the floor with all the water that's coming out. And so we just have to take time to turn the water off, and then we won't have to mop the floor so much. So we're going to start that process. I would encourage you to take the time to do the same things on your side as well, because I think there was just a lot of really, one of the most profound things that came out of it was, I think there was I could see this aha moment with Chelsea and Ashley realizing that because everybody realized we all want the same thing, don't we? And they all want the same thing. And I don't mean the same thing when it comes to the business, but the same thing as human beings. We just want to do a good job. We want to take care of the customer. We want people to be happy with the work that we do. It's really interesting and really pretty simple to do. So we're excited to get that going. And we're making good progress on, we had a lot of interviews. Mike and Amy did a second interview with somebody that I had done an initial interview with. I'm just getting the resumes from Mary Jo, and I'm screening of who I want to have an appointment with. I've had several, and then we're turning those into second interviews with Mike and Amy. They've got a couple more on the books, and I have a couple more interviews to do today. So I have another one. I have one today. So then I think I have another one tomorrow. That's what's going on. Anybody have anything else they want to cover? No? Right on.
No, I mean, I was gonna say during like this whole refi like conversation stuff, I think, sometimes we get a little reactive to like the market. And I think just as a general like business like tactic that we can just employ is like the 3 month and the 6 month calls have been great for me. So I don't know if you guys are doing those at all, but I have tasks that I just, I'll make the call, and some people pick up, some people don't, but I feel like that's a good way for us to not be so like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like sometimes we're like, all right, this is the time where we need to call our database. It's like, what we always should be in flow with our database. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, that's been, because I haven't really had much come up in what G's been dealing with, like with the client conversation. So I'm be curious to see when that does happen for me.
Yeah, I think being proactive about it is the right move for sure, instead of having to react to it like what Giuseppe's doing, because you never know who didn't reach out to Giuseppe. That's the part that's a little unnerving, is who didn't reach out.
Man, I get those credit alerts.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of scares me now that we don't we're telling everybody to opt out. We're not actually going to get the credit alerts anymore. So I'm like, shit, who is getting that information? Like who's just behind I had one guy back in the fall that refinanced with Chase's. So
yeah, I mean, none of these people are doing it as far as I know, but
I think it's
they're
such
looking for advice.
marketing. Yeah, it's such shitty marketing that they're just like reaching out back to us, because they're like, there's not that many people that are I mean, like, yeah, sure, let's just trust these guys. I feel like that's the nice part, is that everybody's trust level has gone down to a minimum. Like there's not many people that just like trust things and automations and people in general out of the gate, right? And so like that's where I like us, and gaining that trust is, it seems like it's going a little bit further in today's market where people's trust is like so low with anything. Right.
Yeah. Jim McMahon used to call it the eloquent slam. So without, I guess, pulling a hobber and going, "This guy sucked," without doing that, you just talk about like, "Hey, this is what these companies do. And the reason, it wouldn't make any sense. They're probably using AI." Just the explanation that you just gave, Giuseppe. It's like, because there's no way that a customer would do something like this. So without sounding like these companies are assholes, you just say like, "I don't know why they do this to you. It's very unhealthy. I would never expect anybody to do this. This would be great social media posts. I think this would be great video. This is great video content for your social media platform." For those of you, I know Brian and Giuseppe are still sending out paper newsletters. This is a great topic for paper newsletters. A great opportunity on a paper newsletter to remind, or even if it's an electronic newsletter, because with an electronic newsletter, you're going to get it out there more frequently. And once you do them once every couple, you do twice a month, just to keep people up to date and remind them of what you do and how you do it and what to look out for, and that and set yourself up as I'm the protector of your future and protector of your generational wealth. And so, yeah, that's our differentiator. It's the personal relationship that Rocket and Better will never be able to duplicate. So there you go. Awesome. All right, guys, if we're good, I'm good. Thanks for jumping on. It was great seeing everybody. Have an awesome day.